Hey, it's been about 4 years since we started this project. Most of it was done within the first 2 weeks. The big piece was getting enough biomass on the roof so that it would be below frost line, and to do so in a way that would create like an igloo, a structure collapsing upon itself, so perpetual arches and circles, meaning we precisely placed all of the round bales. I think there's over 30 round bales of hay and over 380. These are all hay that has gone bad, so we bought them from the farmer after the season. And this is our biomass that's not only going to keep us to a constant 48, 52 degrees year-round inside, meaning nothing ever freezes. It's also going to keep in the radiant heat from our mass floor heater, which is a rocket stove generated heating system, which means we could conceivably, and on test runs we've been getting close to lighting one fire for 45 minutes to 2 hours.
Do you think that's about 800 pounds?
A week.
This is a big rock right here.
Yeah.
It's right on the verge of wanting to teeter and totter. So I've got some logs, some rocks over on this side, another wedge kind of over in there. Hoping that we'll give this one big shove. It's going to roll right into that pile of clay and perlite. And we'll be golden. And here there's nothing. I'm actually going to move this a little bit over here.
Need some extra legs on that? Is that where you wanted it?
Just about.
There's like a little cliff right there and discoloration.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fill all of that with perlite?
Correct, yeah. Pretty much up until that level, and I'm going to kick in. That's mostly clay at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just kick in a little clay with the perlite just to kind of give it a little bit. I think the properties for this will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it'll kind of squish itself right in there, and it'll be insulated and not moving. And this is kind of going to be the base of our thermal mass right now. Now that this is sitting in the perlite, I'm going to come in from the back, mix it all up, and get a good bed of perlite. And then I got to figure out where my stove is going to go. Once I've got it solid and in place where I want it, I got to figure out how the stove is going to work with this thing.
Now, what's your idea? Just showed them the rock. What's the idea with combining this rocket stove with that huge boulder in the middle of the earth lodge?
Well, so the boulder is going to be sitting basically right here, right next to the heat riser, the combustion chamber, which is really the hottest area here. We're going to have some insulation from just the fire bricks, but also all that the heat from this is going to transfer into the big rock, and the big rock's going to get really hot, and it's going to stay hot, and it's going to slowly release heat over time. So basically, the theory behind this shelter is we want to get a big rock hot, and a big rock magically manifested inside the lodge. So now we've worked with it. Now we get it hot. So by having this here, the exhaust wrapping around it, that should really, if we get this rock hot, this shelter is going to be hot. And there's about a foot of perlite underneath that rock. So it's really well insulated from the ground. Alright, so we're just setting up the exhaust right now. You can see the barrel for our rocket stove is here. We're standing over an ash cleanout pit. And the pipe hooks up on the other side of this rock. And now you start to see we're dry fitting the spiral around the building. This is all going to be, again, covered with mass. We've already got a lot of rock underneath here, and it's going to come around, continue over to that other wall under the window, come over, elbow over, and come up, leaving a nice little spot for a chaise lounge right here. A nice warm back and butt, warm from your toes all the way to your head.
Block and tackle were used to open up the garden for sunlight and to use the trees that we felled to make flooring and sleeping platforms for the earth lodge.
The only problem with this angle is that it's not, yeah, they're fighting the...
Yeah, we need
Ideally, you want to be pulling that way, you know?
Dan's going to make a
a hinge. Been doing a nice pie cut and then a back cut. These wedges right here are to help coerce the back cut to fall exactly where we want that tree to go. Heave! 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 Timber!
How many planks do you think we'll get out of this tree?
What? Can't even tell. Haven't even seen the whole log yet. Oh, I love softwood.
To cut the planks, an Alaskan mill was attached to the saw. Because we wanted a shelter that was efficient, rugged, and aesthetically pleasing, we kept to the natural wood theme when designing the interior. So here we have the sleeping platform of the Earth Lodge. And then another platform you sleep on or sit on, read a book, bird studies. And this will be a cob bench and cob bookshelf underneath the plate glass window to let the light in. And we are below frost line, so 48 to 52 degrees year round. And we have a rocket stove thermal mass floor heating system. The input of this stove is right there. We have a laser thermometer. We've got it up to a little over 3,000 degrees. Goes up the riser, hits, warms these rocks, comes down and out. So it goes out and around, heating up all of the floor. We've gathered this slate, and the cob that we used is local sand, clay, and straw. Spirals around and then goes underneath the sleeping chamber. So at 3,200 degrees here and 80 degrees roughly coming out of the pipe. We can access it right through here. Let me first take the little corner one up. And this here. Now, we used to have a second spiral that was going to go underneath this future to be cob bench, but there was too much energy being taken, and the gases would not rise out of the chimney. They would sink back down and cause, the whole thing to back up. So we had to remove a spiral. It was too efficient. And now we've got good flow. And last winter, we had a fire every 4 days, keeping it in the comfortable 60s, low 70s range